right, guys, good morning. Monday, April 13th, Easter Monday, as some people call it. I hope all of you had an amazing weekend. I hope you got to do something fun for Easter, even though we are all quarantined and having to stay home. Couldn't go to church, couldn't go visit family. At least those are the rules, and that's what we're supposed to be doing in order to get this virus to go away so we can get back to school. So, welcome to Monday, April 13th. Let's see if Miss Simpson can find a pen that writes. That's going to be the first trick of our day. I wanted to write with that color, but that color said it wasn't going to work today. Maybe it doesn't like Mondays. Who knows? All right, let's look at your warm-up. Here we go. Choose the correct spelling. You need to look at these three spellings of the word icicle. Icicle. And you need to choose the correct spelling of the three. Next, number 2 says use commas correctly in this sentence. Ice sheets, in a process called calving, give birth to icebergs. Now, a hint that I just gave you was the way that I read it. Should help you figure out where to put your commas. So let's do it one more time. Ice sheets, in a process called calving, give birth to icebergs. That's pretty neat, isn't it? We know that cows, when they start having their calves, it's called calving. I did not know that this process was also called calving. Isn't that cool? All right. Now this one I'm going to help you out with because we're going to see some more of these, and I want you guys to be able to do this. It says circle the complete subject. Okay, so let's read it first. Chunks of floating ice smaller than 50 feet long and with less than 17 feet showing above the water are called growler or Bergy bits. Bergy bits. I'm not sure. I think it's a hard G. Bergy bits, like iceberg. We've heard the term bougie, meaning kind of fancy or a little over fancy, and that was the first thing I thought of when I saw Bergy bits. Okay, guys, so here we go. So what we want is, what is this sentence about? So when you look at the sentence, ask yourself, what are we talking about? That's how you figure out what the subject is. What are we talking about? Well, this complete subject is kind of long. Here we go. Chunks of floating ice smaller than 50 feet long and with less than 17 feet showing above the water. This little word right here that connects the next part of the sentence are called growler or Bergy bits. I'm going to say Bergy for some reason. Okay, so that means all of the rest of this is our complete subject. The subject of this sentence is chunks of floating ice smaller than 50 feet long and with less than 17 feet showing above the water. Then it tells us what they're called. So this is the subject, the complete subject. Okay, keep that in your brain. Remember, what is the sentence about? That's how you find your subject. Here we go. Choose the best verb for this sentence. What's a verb? It's an action word. That's right. So we're looking for action, so we're choosing the best action word. The Titanic sideswiped a great iceberg. Icy water blank through a gash in the ship's hull. So icy water trickled through a gash. Icy water seeped through the gash. Or icy water surged through a gash in the ship's hull. If you need to look up each word to find out the difference, 2 of these words are very similar. 1 of these words is not the same. So if you need to look those up to figure out which one goes in that space, now think about what a gash is. Okay, it's not a crack. Think about that. Look it up if you need to. That's what dictionaries are for. Hopefully you have access to an online dictionary if you don't have a dictionary at home. All right, here we go. Choose a word that completes each sentence correctly, each sentence. We have 3 words. We have summit, we have peak, and we have height. We're going to pick one word that completes all 3 sentences. All right? During the blank of the last ice age, 1/3 of the Earth's land surface was covered by thick sheets of ice. The athlete's training schedule allowed her to blank during the championship playoffs. Can you imagine climbing the blank during a storm? All right. So we can do the typical, I'm not doing this for you, you guys are going to do this, but you can do where you place each word in the sentence. So you're only going to use one of these words, guys. One of these words fits in all 3 sentences. You're not going to use each word. You're going to use one of these 3 words in all 3 sentences, okay? I can't wait to see what your answer choices are. All right, so we're moving from our daily warm-up into our vocabulary. This week we're going to review a Greek root word that we've already done. We're going to do part of it today and part of it tomorrow. You guys are familiar with this one. It was probably the first one or one of the first ones we ever did in class, okay? ASTR, aster. And we discovered when we did this in class that if we rearrange the letters here, if we take this A and we stick it right here, that we spell the word what? That's right. We spell the word star. And that's what excuse me. That's what we think of when we think of aster, the Greek root word aster. So words that have the ASTR in them are going to have something to do with stars. Okay? And it might not be a direct, you might not look at it and say, well, what does that have to do with stars? But then if you think about it, you realize it has something to do with the stars in outer space, way up in space, or formations of stars. We'll get into that as we go. So here's our 3 words that we're going to look at: astronomical, astronaut, and asterisk. Now, this was one of the words that we talked about in class, and I'm going to draw an asterisk, well as Miss Simpson can draw, right? So that we remember that the reason the asterisk is called that and has the AST, and they had to put an ER there, asterisk, is because it looks like a star. Remember that? All right, we know that an astronaut goes into space, and this was a word that I remember gave us fits. It was hard for me to describe this. We looked it up, we talked about it. I hope many of you remember that this word astronomical means as big as space. It's huge, it's massive, it's giant, okay? That's why we use that term astronomical. Just think of it as big as all of outer space, which is infinite, right? It's just endless, and we can't even wrap our minds around how big it is, all right? So today, I want you to draw a picture of what you might see if you were looking at an asteroid, okay? Tomorrow, we will do these sentences. But today, I simply want you to draw me a picture of what you think of when you see the word asteroid, all right? So ASTR, that's our Greek root word. Now, guys, here's the next important part. The second video that you will get from me today will be with your book study. 6th grade. This is our book, Becoming Naomi Leon. 5th grade. This is our book, Esperanza Rising. All right? You guys, when you get your packet pickup this week, your packet is going to follow. 5th grade, you get a packet. 6th grade, you get a different packet. We're going to have the same warm-ups and the same root word, but each grade level is doing a different book study or a novel study with Mrs. Simpson. 6th grade is Becoming Naomi Leon. We did the pre-study for this book last week. fifth grade, you are going to be reading Pam Munoz Ryan's Esperanza Rising. We also did a little pre-study of this book last week. Mrs. Hinchin, when you get a chance, when this whole coronavirus is gone and we can hug each other's neck, give Miss Hinchin a great big hug for making sure that we got these books for you guys, okay? So when you pick up package, there are going to be books available. She's hoping they come in today, Monday, so I don't know if they will be in time for you to pick them up with the Monday's packet, but hopefully you will get them by Thursday. No later than Thursday, you will have a book in your hand, okay? I'm going to ask you to take really good care of the book. We're going to read it. We're going to study it. We're going to talk about it. Both books are by the same author, Pam Munoz Ryan. She is an amazing author, and both of my books are signed to Bessie and Vivian, and then you can see where she signed it right there. In 2016 was when I got to meet her at the San Antonio Book Festival. She is a delightful woman and obviously, clearly a very talented writer. And guess what, guys? She used to be a teacher. That's right. All greatness comes from teachers. So anyway, make sure you see the second video. Make sure you pick up your packet. Make sure you pick up a book. All right? Until next time, watch the second video today, guys. But until tomorrow, when we do our next warm-up, be safe, take care of yourself, and take care of one another. And I will see you tomorrow.